on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Jim Schlossnagle Radio Show, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. And by 44 Farms, proud sponsors of Fightin' Texas Aggie Athletics. Also brought to you in part by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Now, the Jim Schlossnagle Radio Show. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco.
Howdy. We're doing something new, right? We've never had a baseball show until tonight, and it is the Aggie Baseball Hour with head coach Jim Schlossnagle. So glad that you are with us here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road, College Station. We are going to talk about next hour about some baseball.
Doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you.
We've got Logan, Britt here. Micah Dallas is going to be here. A couple of players. And we are glad that you are here. Whether you're joining us all along the Texas A&M Baseball Facebook page, thank you. We'll dial that up. There'll be some questions there. 12th Man mobile app all along the Texas A&M Sports Network. And I am so thrilled to say howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
This was your idea, right? Let's do this.
Yeah,
you did this at TCU, so let's do this here at A&M, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. It could give you and I a chance to spend some time together. Don't see each other very much, at least during the football and basketball season. But, yeah, excited to promote the program and most importantly, promote our players, Logan and Micah tonight. But excited to get the season started and see where we stand.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Diamond Darlings are here as well. 50 years of the Diamond Darlings. I did not know that until the first pitch banquet.
Yeah.
When you said that?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
50th anniversary of the Diamond Darlings. We'll certainly celebrate them throughout the season. And I know they've been a big part of the Aggie baseball tradition. And we certainly want to continue that. And the girls are great. They work super, super hard. And for not a whole lot in return other than just recognition and to be a part of something special, which, we consider them part of our team.
Absolutely. And there'll be some questions that we will answer as well. But thank you all for being here. Coach, my first question to you is, why Texas A&M for you? Why'd you come here?
Yeah, I think everybody in life has, just decisions they have to make during the course of their life, whether it be professionally or personally. And everywhere I've coached, Elon, Clemson, Tulane, UNLV, TCU, I've loved all those places, and Fort Worth in particular, 18 years, and both of my children, grew up there for the most part, and they're both students at TCU. And we had a great run, no question about it. 5 trips to the College World Series, and we played in 3 different conferences, and really enjoyed my time there, and could certainly had zero plans to ever leave, other than, if something truly special came along at the right age, at the right time in my life, if it worked professionally and if it worked personally with my family, then it would just be something I consider. And that's not a statement of anything better or worse. That's just different. There isn't a whole lot similar between Fort Worth and College Station. There isn't a whole lot similar between TCU and Texas A&M. You have a small private school and a larger state university, and there's advantages and disadvantages to both of those places. But for me, the saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room, is something that, I just really enjoy the process of I don't want to use the word building, because I've inherited an awesome program from Coach Childress, Coach Johnson, and Coach Chandler. And it's just the opportunity, when I met with Ross, and he, relayed his vision of what, he came from Ole Miss, where college baseball is such a massive thing, and the crowds and the success up there in Oxford. And Texas A&M has had better success than that. 13 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. Coach Childress, 2 trips to the College World Series. We all know if the ball bounces a couple different ways against TCU, it could be more trips to the Omaha for A&M. But when you look at Ross's vision for the program, the stadium, which is something that's very enticing to me to be a part of renovating and taking something that's already really good and taking it to a completely different level. That's what was enticing. And the opportunity to do that, not just in the best conference, but in the best division of the best conference, which sounded like a really good idea last June. Ask me in April and May what that feels like. But and then to be able to, 2.5 or so hours from my children. So personally, professionally, and people say, knowing what you know now, would you still made the right decision? Well, knowing what I know now, I would have made it even faster. And that's not a statement of TCU. That's just, holy cow, what an awesome place to live. Really love Bryan College Station. Obviously, the Aggie fan base has been amazing. We haven't played a ball game yet. I get that. And when things don't go our way, I get that they're going to be upset. So will I. Yeah. But just in general, I'm just super blessed. Wake up every day. Can't wait to get to work and have jumped in with both feet to everything that Aggie Land is all about.
Would it be an understatement to say you hit the ground running when you got here?
Yeah, no question. But that's I wanted that. I'm 51 years old. I mean, I could be in better shape, but I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, and both my children are grown and they still need help, but they're in college and they're soon going to graduate and move on but for me to be able to work with our coaching staff, which I'm sure we'll talk about, just unbelievable group of men and a few ladies, but an unbelievable group of men, all focused on the right things, all pulling on the same end of the rope, all with a love of being here. Has really, not that I was working my rear end off at Fort Worth, and if I'd have stayed there, I would have, they got every ounce of me for 18 years, and Texas A&M is going to get every ounce of me for the time in which I'm blessed to be here. So, yeah, we've been running since day one, and we're going to keep running. I mean, the only way to nothing works unless you do. Right. I mean, and that's I live by that, So we're going to work our rear ends off, and not because it's a job, it's a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle to help a guy like Micah Dallas and Logan Britt become the best version of who they are. If we can all contribute to that, then guess what? It's all going to work out for the coaches. But we have to help these kids get to where they want to be, and then the wins and losses will take care of themselves.
You have immersed yourself in the university, not just your program, everywhere. I texted you after I saw you at football practice, and I said, sorry I didn't come up to see you. And you said, I like to watch other coaches coach. And you're there on the sidelines. You're there at Midnight Yell. You were at a road game. You're at basketball. You're at wherever. You have just embraced. Have you felt that embrace back from Aggies?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, everybody's been so nice, way nicer than when I had a purple jersey on, I can tell you that. They weren't super mean, but it's hard to be in another dugout of Bluebell Park. But no, I mean, it's, I immerse for a lot of reasons. Number one, I want to learn. I want to meet people. And this is not, when I say me, this is our coaching staff. I mean, Hutch has been here. Jason Hutch has been here for 25 years. Will Fox has been here for 3 or 4 years. And those guys, I don't know how we would survive, any of us, without those two guys being able to tell us what's up and what's down. But the rest of us, Coach Yeski, Coach Kane, like Coach Early, Coach Box, I mean, we've all just dove all in. Number one, that's our job. But number two, like, I don't play golf. I used to hunt till I was about 14 years old. I haven't done it since. I like to fish every now and then if it's the right time of year, 2 or 3 times a year. But man, I'm a sports guy, and I love. If you tell me I can watch Jimbo Fisher coach football, I can watch Buzz Williams coach basketball. I can go see, our track program or anything. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And there's no pro sport to go see, And so, I mean, when I was in Fort Worth, I would go sit and watch the Rangers take batting practice. Yeah. But here, I mean, if I have free time, it's either going to be advancing our baseball program or it's going to be advancing myself. And in other words, I don't go to football practice to be entertained. I go there to learn. Mm-hmm. And you have one of the premier programs and premier coaches on your campus, and you have access to it. Why wouldn't you go look at that?
He is Jim Schlossnagle. This is the Aggie Baseball Hour with Jim Schlossnagle. We will talk about those coaches. We're going to talk about the analytics in college baseball. We're going to get into uniforms because we know that's always a hot topic. And these are some great, great uniforms that we will. That's in our next segment of the Aggie Baseball Hour. So glad you were with us. Stay with us. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. This portion of the Aggie Baseball Hour is brought to you by 44 Farms. And 44 Farms would like to invite you to their Spring Bull Sale on Saturday, February 26th at 10:30 a.m., located at 44 Farms in Cameron, Texas. 650 big, stout Angus bulls ready to go to work. Bulls in volume and in every price range. Come on out to 44 Farms. And thanks so much to Bob McLaren and 44 Farms for their support of Texas A&M Athletics. 44 Farms, the official beef of the Aggies. And when you head out to Olson Field at Bluebell Park, you are going to see 44 Farms. It's up on the outfield wall and in the bullpen as well. You love that kind of support as well.
Well, I do, and Mr. McLaren's been a great friend. We've developed an outstanding friendship already. I've been there twice. We took our coaching staff down there, and we also took my mom down there. So it's quite the scene if you've never been down in Cameron to check out that operation. Is super impressive.
Wonderful partnership for us with Jim Schlossnagle. This is the Aggie Baseball Hour. Coach, you were talking about the coaching staff, and you had the opportunity. You were not only hired, but then you had to hire the staff. And to say you got some of the brightest and some of the best in the country, I think would also be another understatement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, that's, my job as the head coach is to hire people smarter than me, hire people that are really good at what they do, and then give them every single resource they need to be successful. Same thing for the players. My job as the head coach, I always tell the guys, your job is to bring the best attitude and the best effort every single day. What's my job? Everything else, everything. It's to give you every single thing you need to be successful, and then hold everybody accountable to that, including myself. So, but yeah, Nate Yeske, our associate head coach, pitching coach, he's been a guy that has been a longtime friend of mine for a very long time. Since I was the coach at UNLV, he played at UNLV, not for me, but just before I got there. And we have always talked about working together at some point. And so being able to get him from Omaha team in Arizona last year, and prior to that, he's winning national titles and going to College World Series all the time at Oregon State. He's a farm guy. He was raised in Wisconsin, grew up on farms, so he's loving it here. Got his gun case and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, and then Nolan Kane, premier recruiter in the country. He's such a good recruiter, it overshadows what kind of coach he is. He's a really good baseball coach. He's coached third base for LSU in Alex Box Stadium for the last 4 or 5 years, so he knows what that is like in this league. He along with Hutch and Will Fox they're the guys that have been in the conference. I've never coached in the conference. I've coached against the teams, but not in the conference. And so huge resource in that. I'm sure that's going to pay dividends throughout the course of the season. Michael Early, I didn't know. I knew of, but I didn't know. And when when everybody across the country saw how we were stacking things up, they could tell that from a hitting standpoint, we were going to need somebody to lead the hitters. And I got a bunch of phone calls from both professional baseball and throughout the country said, hey, you need to talk to this guy at Arizona State. So we spoke on the phone a couple times, flew him out. Spent some time together. Of course, Nate Yeske, being at Arizona, was able to watch across the field what Coach Early was doing. And, man, what a knowledgeable, brings toughness, grit, just a lot of things to our program that, frankly, other people don't do. So it's a really good balance. And then Chuck Box, Director of Player Program Development, has really been a friend of mine for a long time. And if there's such a thing, he's not allowed to technically coach, but he's allowed to coach me.
Right.
And so if there's ever a thing in college baseball that, in the big leagues you have a bench coach,
yes,
he would be that for me. And he's really been, my right-hand guy, and just been another set of eyes that just brings a phenomenal, I guess in football, be like one of those analysts that is able to look at things differently than you are from maybe a different viewpoint, and his values through the roof, all their value. And then Hutch, we've talked about, he's done everything in this program. He's been a player, he's been a coach, he's been an administrator. There isn't one single thing his finger isn't on, and I hope Aggies understand how valuable he is to the whole athletic department, not just baseball. And then Will Fox oversees our video and our analytical stuff.
Yep.
And but he's also, he's coached before and has a great, feel for infield playing and team offense. And so just super blessed to be around those guys every day. And they're all, I mean, I'm the only guy not married. The rest of them have, they have great wives and awesome children. We have 9 children on the staff under the age of 9. So be careful if you come in the office. Some days it's romper room, which I love. I get to be like a granddad and play with little Miss Hazel over there, and then send her on home on her way.
Right. That's right. That's perfect.
So, anyway, but yeah, our staff just, man, it's awesome, and I'm not just saying that. I look forward to getting in the office every day.
You touched upon the analytics side. So for you and the years that you've seen analytics become more and more prevalent in college baseball. How do you balance, Coach, analytics with your gut of being such a successful manager of 800-plus wins?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's just in the last 3 years has changed. For instance, it seems like, even just 10 years ago, if you wanted a scouting report on somebody else, there was a little bit of college baseball on TV. You could record some things on a VHS tape or whatever, and then you got DVRs. But you still would call, if we're getting ready to play Lamar, we would call Houston and Texas State and get their information and try and put things together. But now, just in the past 12 months, we have, we bought into this system, which also the Cleveland Indians, the Oakland A's, the Kansas City Royals, Mississippi State, all these other programs have that is just brand new, that literally is like the big leagues. Like, it'll tell you, you'll be able to see, hey, this is where you should put guys on defense, or this is where this guy's heat maps, they call them, where if you pitch him here, he can really handle the ball. If you pitch him here, he can't. The key is being able to throw the ball there, Micah Dallas, right? But so you get that information, and then it's just a piece of the puzzle, right? You're not going to live and die by that because there's humans playing an imperfect game. And so you look at that and you compare it to what your player does, and you also have to take into account the mindset of the player, right? Is he sick? Have girlfriend issues? What's his, does he struggle with this or that, or where is he mentally? And you put all those things together. And I can tell you this: when you're in the stands, it looks way easier. If you want to become a really good player or know more about baseball, become a coach, because the game's way easier in the dugout and it's way easier in the upper deck. Right, but it's really hard in the batter's box.
Right.
But so you have to take all those things into account, and then understand that if something is really strong one way or the other, then we will play those numbers or play those analytics or whatever that may be. But you have to use the information as a tool relative to everything else and your gut feel, which only comes from experience, right? It only comes from experience.
Exactly. And that I get a chance to do this with Jimbo and Buzz, and Buzz has talked a lot this year about taking all that information, and he said, it doesn't matter what I know, how do I teach it? Do you try to keep it as, I'm going to use the word he uses, digestible as you can for the player?
Yeah, I don't want the players looking at any of this stuff. I want them, because I believe, I don't care who's hitting. If Micah Dallas executes the pitch he wants to throw, pitch selection is way overrated. Pitch execution matters, right? So I don't care if everybody in the ballpark knows Micah Dallas is throwing a breaking ball. If he executes his breaking ball, you're not hitting it. Right? Now, no one hits a good breaking ball. You only hit the bad breaking balls, right? So, yeah, I want players, we want to do, I heard Joe Madden today talk about, one of his phrases, we need to do simple better. Mm-hmm. And if somebody were to ask me baseball philosophy, I want things to be as simple as they possibly can in a game that's really, really hard to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if Haynes King or Connor Wegman only complete 3 out of 10 passes, somebody else is playing. Right? But if Logan Britt this year succeeds, gets a base hit 30% of the time, that's going to be an all-conference player. And so what people got to understand that it's really hard to do what these guys do. And now that we have all this information, it's even harder to get a hit because of all of the video and all the different things that go into play.
They have it too, right?
Everybody.
Trying to use it against you.
Yeah. It's not like we have something that Mississippi State or LSU or University of Houston don't have. Everybody can, as long as they pay for it, they can get the same stuff.
It's more than just a gut feeling, but you use your experience to see how Micah handles failure, how Logan handles failure. Jimbo says that all the time. It's why he likes two-sport or multi-sport athletes. I thought it was using the mind. He said, I want to see how an athlete handles failure, and do they make themselves better? Is that where the balancing act of all your experience comes with that analytics and your personal relationship with each player?
Yeah, well, it's that. It's knowing how guys, handle certain environments and where are they currently mentally, right? And so you only get that through, as a fan, you only get to see the games and you only get to see it from a distance. As a coach, you see these guys every day. Right. You sit down with them when they're going through a rough time, and you know what's maybe going on in his family and all those things, and those aren't things that you get to see as a fan. You don't get to see behind the curtain, and behind the curtain is what matters the most, right? Because they're even in professional sports, they're still human. This is an imperfect game played by imperfect people, and so there's going to be screw-ups,
right.
But yeah, I mean, but I'm a believer in players more so than any other time in my career. I'm a huge fan of our players,
right.
As long as they make the right decisions away from the field,
right.
And so I know that Micah Dallas, he's not perfect, but I know Micah and Logan Britt. I see what those guys bring to the ballpark every day.
Right.
I know how hard they work. I know what kind of people they are, and I think that plays itself out over time. So I respect how hard they work, and I respect how hard the game is.
And those two and their teammates are the ones who set the culture for you, correct?
Well, I believe the coaching staff kind of defines the culture. You want to be ultimately you want the culture to be what we call coach-fed and player-led.
Gotcha.
And so we set hey, this is what we stand for. This is what we're going to be all about. You get total buy-in, and then when you have guys like that are able to hold each other accountable to where it never even reaches the coach. If Andrew screws up, the players take care of it, and it never reaches the coach. Ultimately, that's what you want as a program, and we're headed in that direction.
Does your past success help you instill that culture here at Texas A&M?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe right out of the gate, but ultimately it depends on how you treat people and how you and how you handle how I handle the first time that we don't play well, the first time that we hopefully we'll win all the games. That's what my goal is, right? Probably not going to happen in this sport. But so the first time we play poorly, the first time we lose a series, if we get swept, they're going to watch. Hey, how's this guy handle this, right? And I'm the worst loser in America. But sometimes you got to fake it, And so I've gotten better at that over time. Still don't accept it,
right.
But at the same time, your skins on the wall only matter. I mean, Micah Dallas has skins on the wall at Texas Tech.
Right.
That helped him get here. I've seen it from the other dugout, what he can do. But ultimately, he's going to be defined, not as a person, but as a pitcher,
right.
by how he pitches for us this year. So, and that doesn't make him a better or worse person, but ultimately you still have to go do it.
He is Jim Schlossnagle. He's the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. This is the Aggie Baseball Hour, and it will be Micah or Logan when we come back. Got to leave some suspense for you. Stay with us. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. The player portion of the Aggie Baseball Hour is brought to you by Capital Farm Credit. Capital Farm Credit, together, we're better. Not just one of the players, we'll have both of them for these next two segments. Next to me, Micah Dallas. Next to him, Logan Britt. Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
You got the howdy down, by the way?
I do have the howdy down. I kind of already was doing it before I came here. So
was there howdy in Aubrey, Texas?
I mean, kind of. It's pretty country, so you kind of say it, but not. If you say howdy, most of the time you're not going to get a howdy back like you do here. So
I'm going to ask both you guys what I asked Coach Schlossnagle. You come in as a transfer. You obviously for Texas A&M coming in. Why A&M?
I saw the coaching staff that was being put together. And I know Coach Schlossnagle and his history of winning, and I've heard great things about him. And when I met Coach Yeski and all the other staff, I just kind of knew that this was the place for me right now in this part of my life. And, it's great opportunity. And I just know how they develop players and how they're winners. And obviously, my sister's out here, and she went here, and I have a bunch of family who went here. So it was just kind of a great spot for me.
Logan, why'd you choose A&M?
Yeah, during the whole recruiting process, you weigh your options. And Texas A&M in Texas, want to be a Texas kid my whole life. SEC West, best division in college baseball. And then, of course, when I told my aunts and uncles that I received a scholarship from A&M, I couldn't go anywhere else because they're diehard Aggies. So they kind of made that decision for me. It was pretty easy when it came down to that.
Look at him playing to the crowd already.
Yeah.
That's impressive. But, Logan, my understanding is you were playing football, and Terry Price, defensive line coach, along with Elijah Robinson, introduced you to A&M almost on the football side, or was it the baseball side also?
Yes, sir. Terry Price was actually the head recruiter in my area in Fort Worth, and they were overseeing me. I was playing quarterback at Fort Worth All Saints. Had multiple conversations with them, and then I spiral fractured my right fibula my sophomore year and decided to hang up the cleats and the helmet and stick and focus on baseball, but I always kept that in the back of my mind. They showed me great love, and I appreciate them for that.
I saw a scouting report that said if Logan had stayed with football, he'd have been an SEC quarterback. Ooh. You believe that?
I do. I still do.
Like he was going to say no to that.
If Coach Slosh ever gave me the green light to go over there for one spring practice, I think I'd make the roster.
You can't let them get to that head.
Coach has been at Jimbo's practices. I will tell you this, you will learn colorful language.
Oh, yeah, I know. The football field and baseball field are two different animals for sure.
But there are a lot of similarities as well, right?
Exactly, yes, exactly.
That repetition
yes, sir.
becomes a big part of it. Micah, you played against Coach Schloss. What is it like now to have this time with him as the season approaches?
You know, it's great to have him on your side. I competed against him for 3 years. You know, we lost both times. I went against him, but I did do well once. But then, he just has a good game plan all around. So it's tough to play against him. A&M obviously knows that. But, just like A&M, finally, getting him on your side. Right. And being able to play for him, it's going to be a whole lot easier.
He talked about your skins on the wall. You've been a starter. You've been a reliever. Is there one that you prefer?
Yeah, I prefer, starting, but obviously that it can change with whatever, and wherever I'm going to help the team out the most is where I need to be. And so, if it's coming out of the pen when we need it, then, that'll be great for me. But, I love doing both. I love pitching, and, wherever the lineup is where I'll be.
True or false, Logan, Britt? The Chandler Joswalk hang-up came from you.
Yeah, actually, last year in Round Rock, me and Will Frizzell were roommates, and I was like, I don't know, I think I was 1 for 24 or something going into the weekend, not doing too hot, and I was like, Frizz, I'm going to hit a homer tomorrow, and I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm just going to, this call or portion of my baseball career this far, I just need to erase it. Sure enough, hit one against OU, and then I went.
That is still going, by the way. Rare at Round Rock. That thing is still going.
I went into the dugout, and Jaws was standing there, and he's like, I'm stealing that from you. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you were doing all this stuff? I obviously, blacked out. First college home run. My whole body was numb. I was shaking. I couldn't stop moving around. He's like, I'm taking that from you. And it wasn't until the next day that I figured out what he was talking about. But, yeah, that I'd like to say I gave him that idea, but,
So he said on the podcast that we did, in the Conversations podcast at the end of the season, that you're rounding third, you did the hang-up, and then from that on, it looks like the horn's down, and obviously did it in the 2-0 shutout of TU at Bluebell. But he said, and he also said that you did not really remember as you do that, but he and Will Frizzell went nuts because you actually followed through with it.
Yeah. The game against Texas, you definitely saw it go from a pinky and a thumb to a pointer and a pinky. I think that was the funnest thing. Jaws, I think he's got a social media gif going around of him hitting the horns down, almost threw his arm out of socket, but it was electric.
What was it like for you being on the outside looking into A&M, and now that you are on the inside, Micah?
Oh, gosh. Especially in high school, you see all this stuff with the fans and the support, and I knew a little bit with some family that came here, but I mean, just the traditions they have, it's like, wow, I want to be a part of that. You know, like, that is something special, and you don't see it anywhere else in the country. And, you know, where I came from, you know, we had great fans too. But, like, just being able to experience, yeah, like you said, coming from the outside in, they've been nothing but supportive, and it's honestly just so fun to be able to play for them.
Was there a little bit of wind in Lubbock?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of wind.
Is it tough to pitch in wind?
Yeah, it can be tough. It's more just mental because you can give up a fly ball that goes over the fence, and you just have to think, all right, flush it. I know that was a fly ball, but, you know, fortunately both pitchers on either team have the same wind. So everyone's playing on the same day, and, you know, you just got to, like Coach said, you know, throw low, and hopefully they hit it into the ground. So I kind of learned how to do that there.
Logan, you go out and watch, and you're in center field. How do you like playing center field now?
I love center field. I mean, that was the position I grew up playing. They kicked me out of the infield because they figured out really quick I couldn't field the ground ball, so they turned me into a grass dog. And I like to run around a little bit and track them down, so that's more of a natural position for me. I'm a bigger guy. It's pretty uncommon to have a guy my size and stature out there. Probably going to end up in right, but until they tell me otherwise, I want to play there till I...
In right field, the one game, there's many games that I remember, but the one at Houston where you're going gap to gap as a hitter and then you're throwing someone out at the plate, you love being able to use that arm as an asset and know that you can change the game defensively, can't you?
Oh, 100%, because, I mean, in the box, you're not going to go 3 for 3 every day, but defense is something that you can pride yourself on and play to the highest level every day. So 0 for 3, 3 for 3, always a high level of competition out there on the defensive side. And like in Houston, that run saved our game, and then we ended up going to the 9th inning, going ahead.
Do you ever challenge them to run a little bit on you?
See, that's a trick right there, you know. The second you start sandbagging, they go, and then they'll complete 1 or 2, and then you're like, oh, I messed up right there. So no, I try to give them a warning and in and out. Just don't do it, please. But if they do run, I'll let it rip.
He is Logan Britt. He is Micah Dallas. This is the Aggie Baseball Hour. We will continue. Come on back to Rudy's. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. The player portion of the Aggie Baseball Hour. This portion brought to you by Walk-Ons. Hey, 12th man, there's really no better way to describe the uniqueness of Walk-On Sports Bistro. We start every dish from scratch and use fresh ingredients to bring our mouth-watering Cajun cuisine to life. And whether you're here for dinner with the family, date night, cocktails with the girls, or to watch a game on the big screen, we're always happy to share our Louisiana culture with you. Walk-Ons, proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We do continue with the Aggie Baseball Hour, our first one. We thank you all for joining us here on Facebook, Texas A&M Baseball Facebook page. They have checked in from Flatonia, from the D.C. area. The Curtis family from Port Neches, Texas, putting a number 30, like we didn't know that one. Minnesota has checked in. And we have a whole bunch of fans who have been Aggie baseball fans for a long time. We always appreciate them. With Micah Dallas, with Logan Britt, I'm Andrew Monaco. We continue. I don't want to have to revisit this, and I'm not going to do it very often, but I want to know how personal it was. You had the game taken away from you 2 springs ago, and you had just 25% at times. Last year, it grew throughout the spring. COVID, we pressed pause. How excited are you both to have full crowds at Bluebell and as many bubbles as we can possibly have out there this spring and this summer?
You know, it was obviously heartbreaking when COVID hit. But honestly, with everything going on in the world, that's kind of the last of the concerns. At the end of the day, you know, baseball it's a game. And so there's a whole lot more serious stuff going on. But obviously for us, this is what we do. This is what we work really hard for. So it was tough. And then coming back, the crowds, I was fortunate enough, I think the Big 12 was full capacity. And so we got to experience that again. But I know for, you know, Logan and the other guys that were here last year, they weren't able to experience that. And some of the sophomores now have never experienced a full Bluebell Park. And that's something that I have never experienced either. So there's going to be a lot of firsts. I think February 18th is going to be a big day for a lot of people. It's going to be super exciting. And I know everyone's going to show out.
I think, was it Mississippi State was 100% the first one, and I think all the questions were, oh, are you going to be right? You guys were like, we can't wait for that, right?
Oh, yeah. It was ridiculous. The atmosphere there is something pretty similar to what we had against Texas. I remember from the left field pole, the right field pole, there's fans, 10, 20 rows deep. And then finally they opened the gates at Duty Noble, and it was electric.
Fun to have Section 12 behind you. And are you very glad that they're rooting for you?
Oh, 100%. I think it was Corpus Christi A&M last year. They had a player, Itchy Burts, a right fielder.
Yep.
Oh, they were on that poor guy all night. Itchy butts. And I was like, oh. It was so bad. And then the right fielder from Texas. Every time I walk out there, tip the hat. Thank you guys for not yelling at me.
That's what's going to be so much fun, right? Section 203, the Raggies are going to be back. We're going to try to get as much, Aggie Alley as we can in that atmosphere. You look forward to that, don't you? Starting on that first series against Fordham, the 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Yeah, that's going to be super exciting. And I know they're going to do a ton of stuff in right field. They upgraded it from last year, and there should be a lot of great options for students to have a good time out there.
And I'll talk with Coach about this, but you guys got to debut the uniforms. Do you guys get geeked out about uniforms and getting to wear all of those as much as sometimes the fans and the students do?
I mean, it's just really fun to put them on before the season starts. It's almost like false hope, like you're about to go tee it up and punch somebody in the mouth. But,
Yeah.
It's always fun to throw on the A&M jersey and represent something higher than yourself, but it's going to be really amazing February 18th when we finally put them under the lights for everybody to see.
You wore them at the women's clinic in a fantastic outpouring there, and then the first pitch banquet was great. Did you guys enjoy the reception you got from being there in the Ford Hall of Champions?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've said, ever since I've been here, everyone's just welcomed us with, arms wide open, and they're all super excited about the new staff and just all the changes and all the excitement. And the people, I know they showed out like crazy at the banquet. There was, I'm pretty sure it was overflown. We had to make room for people.
Yeah.
Everyone's just so great.
Another understatement for both of you guys, athletic families. Did that help you in your careers?
Yeah, my sister played college volleyball, so I got to witness at an early age how she got to handle failure. And I think the shared adversity side of things, just picking her brain, asking her how she handled different things, it just it's like putting an armor on and putting some chinks in there. You already got that battle won, and then you just take that and you take your own personal failures, and it just adds up, and you start overcoming things that you never thought you would.
Have you learned how to flush it? Have you learned how to flush a bat at bat?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm a pretty chill guy, so you wouldn't be able to tell if I went 3 for 3, 0 for 3. It's just, you can never get too high, you can never get too low in this game, or it's going to come and kick you right in the teeth.
Is it a good thing that Troy or Taylor, someone will throw you the ball and you get another pitch again? Does that help you with, I didn't execute this one? I get to throw one immediately and make that correction?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Troy back there. I feel like we already have this great connection, and I can kind of read his mind, what he's thinking. He doesn't even have to say anything, and so he gets me the ball back. I already know what I have to do, and I just try and go out there and execute the next pitch.
You also an athletic family.
Yeah.
Right?
Grandparents, I had, my dad played D1 basketball. I've played with my brother my whole life. He's at Oklahoma Baptist, playing there. And, just being able to compete, against my brother and having my dad teach me, just growing up, it taught me a lot about, who I am as a person and just how to go about things in the sporting world.
A little bit easier into the entry. I mean, there's a reason why you guys not only wanted to play just college baseball, and if pro is in the future, but on a level like Texas Tech and Texas A&M, and for you at A&M, you want to be at the best level, right? Did it help and almost reinforce that decision?
Absolutely. That helped me, especially as a freshman, just going into it. I've been training my whole life like I've been in the biggest situations. And so just having a family like that to push me and to, kind of direct me in my path, it definitely helped.
And there's a reason why you chose here, right?
Oh, 100%. Just like Brooks Raley said at the banquet, he said, The SEC West is almost comparable to high A in professional baseball, and if that's something you aspire to do in your life, which I know that is the next step in my journey, I believe, this is the only conference that will give you that benefit. This is the highest level of college baseball you can come to, and I'm just blessed to be here.
Cannot wait to watch this season. Thank you so much for being the first two players on this show. You guys absolutely knocked it out of the park, to use that analogy for this show. Micah, Logan, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Micah Dallas, Logan Britt, fighting Texas Aggies. Coach Schlossnagle will join us for the final segment of the Aggie Baseball Hour with Jim Schlossnagle. That's when we continue from Rudy's. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. A reminder, Aggie Baseball's back. The 2022 season opens Bluebell Park Friday, February 18th against Fordham. First pitch, 6:32. Three-game series continues on Saturday and Sunday. For game information, promotion details. To buy tickets in advance, check out the 12th Man mobile app or visit gameday.12thman.com. On Facebook, the All-American Hunter Melton has checked in. From Corsicana, Hunter, thank you for doing that. For all of you who have joined in on Facebook. This is our final segment of this hour. We are back with you on March 24th. That will be our next Aggie Baseball Hour with Jim Schlossnagle. And I believe this becomes lightning round with all our questions.
All right, let's
Ready?
do it.
Here we go. How does it feel to be the only undefeated coach at Texas A&M?
Yeah, I know the guy that wrote that question. Yeah, it feels great until next Friday, and then it's all over and done with. So,
I hope you know what? I'm hoping we're still asking this question every single show. How about that?
That'd be great.
Okay. Biggest surprise you've experienced since arriving in Aggieland, Wesley, class of '95?
Yeah, I mean, I would say first and foremost, what an amazing. Not that I didn't think Bryan College Station was a great place to live. I just didn't realize 250,000 people live here. Before we start counting students, and the restaurants, just the way of life has just been, I guess it's surprising simply because I didn't know, but
right.
It's just an awesome place to live. And then I thought I had an idea of the Aggie fan base and the former students and all of that, but I had no idea when we're getting ready to play Prairie View at 11 a.m. on a Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we had some recruits coming in. I look at Jason Hutchins, like, man, crowd's going to be terrible. No students here. It's going to be awful. And he's like, what are you talking about? There's going to be like 87,000 here. I was like, no way. And there was over 90,000.
Yeah.
So just seeing that, not to mention 106 against Alabama, 106 against 109 against Auburn. So that's just been mind-blowing. And so again, something we want to bring on a smaller level to Olsen Field.
When you're recruiting 8th through 12th graders, what's the most important skill for pitchers?
Any pitcher, throw strikes, command the baseball, be able to throw your fastball where you want to throw it first and foremost, and then we'll worry about the rest of it later. But you want athletic players. I mean, I don't care if you're a pitcher or whatever position you play. You want guys that are good athletes. I like guys that play multiple sports. That's a whole show topic we could do. But yeah, for a pitcher, you just want a guy that throws strikes and gives you a chance.
What about for hitters, Coach?
I mean, hitters, you obviously want guys that can use the whole field to hit. I mean, we talk about shifting, and I take it personal as a coach when teams can play shifts on our hitters, because we want to coach hitters, we want to recruit hitters that can use the whole field, that don't just pull the ball or don't just do this or don't just do that. They're able to use the whole field to hit, and most importantly, they know a ball from a strike. And if you read Ted Williams' Science of Hitting, page 1, chapter 1, sentence 1, get a good pitch to hit.
Yep.
Swing at the strikes and take the balls.
Yep.
And it sounds simple, and it's easier said than done. But if you ask Logan Britt, he's heard it 1,000 times, right? And he'll keep hearing it. And that's, again, easy for me to say and really hard to do when you're in that batter's box and it's 97 with movement and a great breaking ball. Real simple to sit around and say, why'd he swing at that? Right. Well, come stand in the batter's box and see what it's like. But ultimately, that's what we spend a lot of time doing, is strike zone discipline and the ability to swing at good pitches.
Ian, I'm holding your question because it's too good, and we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to ask you the nod to the history of Aggie baseball with your uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a big fan. I mean, I think if you're at a place like Texas A&M, I mean, number one, who am I to come in to, change. You know, the only thing I've changed is I'm not in a good enough shape to wear a V-neck jersey, so I'm not wearing a V-neck jersey very often. But to just button down. When you look through the annals of A&M baseball and you see all these awesome, great uniforms, I just tried to bring a lot of those back. And people got to understand that when you benefit from, you know, when I was at TCU it was Nike, here it's Adidas. When you benefit from Adidas, when they give you so much, they also get a voice. And so I know, I mean, for example, we'll have a black jersey and a black hat. Frankly, that wasn't something I necessarily was too fond of, but it's something that Adidas was asking us to wear. And so we will we'll wear that sparingly, but it is something that, you know, I mean, a lot of times you may see the basketball team, you may see the football team wear something you don't necessarily think that's great, and Coach Fisher may not have thought it was great, but it's something that Adidas, they're trying to push that because people buy it, and that helps everybody. So, but in general, yeah, I want classic traditional uniforms. There are going to be uniforms that everybody wears with the pants up, but there's also going to be uniforms where, you know, I want to give these guys some freedom. And would I prefer everybody to be the exact same? Probably in a perfect world, but
live from Rudy's Country Store and
battles,
Barbecue
right?
on Harvey Road in College Station. This has been the Jim Schlossnagle Radio Show, brought to you by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. And by 44 Farms, proud sponsors of Fightin' Texas Aggie Athletics. Also brought to you in part by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue.
Schlossnagle, and this is
Visit
Aggie Baseball from
Rudys.com
Learfield.
to find real Texas barbecue near you.